This is treasure hunt, requires a map. So you've been taught to go out and build more, right? Dig in new places, create more offers, start more businesses, add more layers and complexity to your system. But what if the wealth that you're seeking to maximize is already on your own land? You just don't have the map to know where to dig. That's your gap. That is your gap. You have been taught to go look elsewhere when the very thing you're looking for is on your land, and you have been missing a map the whole time. The gap is the map, not effort, not more intelligence, not one more clever thing you need to do to promote yourself in your business. It's visibility, meaning you can't see what you can't see. That's what you've been missing. So the map is exactly what my Income Trinity financial formula solves. It gives you the visibility of the treasure hiding on your own land that you need to dig into. And it's going to show you 3 things very precisely. Number 1, it's going to show you where your wealth is already coded. Number 2, what the market is responding to in you that would help you scale. And number 3, where it's going to land and consolidate in real time so that it expands into full portfolio leverage for you. Because money isn't random. Have you ever heard that expression, follow the money, right? Follow the money, meaning money leaves a trail. Money follows a map. It follows a structure. It has a map to it. So we're going to look at yours today. And when you see that structure, that map, that's when things change. It gets easier and faster and more obvious to consider those subtle shifts inside what you're already doing that could maximize more. So I've written a guidebook called the Financial Codex that breaks down those 3 money signals inside the Income Trinity financial formula. And I'm going to walk you through all 3 of them. And then here comes the fun part. I'm going to grab a few people from the crowd to interpret their Income Trinity live, because I want you to learn the formula and get really comfortable with it so you can know how to work it out for yourself. And we're going to run it live together so you can see it in action and just how quickly your next money move might become obvious for you. Okay, so there are 3 core signals inside your Income Trinity. The first is your capital attraction code, and this is what naturally draws money to you, okay? The second is your expansion multiplier, and this is where your work is going to scale the fastest. And the third is your fortune access point, and it's where your wealth is going to actually land real time in the world when everything about you consolidates. So these 3 mathematical points are derived from your birthday data. So it is exclusive and unique to you, meaning your code is not going to be the same as your neighbor's code. It is precise, it is mathematical, it is data backed, and it is exclusive to you. So we run it in that particular sequence. I'm going to show you how to do that live in a second when I share my screen. And this is going to give you that next move certainty. When those 3 factors, the capital attraction code, the expansion multiplier, and the fortune access point, when they're misaligned, you've got them in a different order, you're not doing one of them, you didn't know you should be doing one of them, that's when you start working harder than you needed to, or you're just missing opportunities and can't seem to understand why. When you sync them in that particular order and understand that for yourself, that is when things become really aligned and much easier for you. So the 3 points are mathematically derived from your unique birthday data, and they are exclusive to you. So don't try to steal your neighbor's code. And a very simple data entry is going to produce a money map that's indicated in your astrological birth chart, right? And the 3 points in the money map that you're going to need to identify are the Venus indicator, the Jupiter indicator, and the lot of fortune. Don't worry, I'm going to show you everything on the screen. So then you just plug those 3 points into the Income Trinity formula, and it's going to give you your results. Now, to make it easy for those of you that actually want to try to do it on your own, I created the financial codex so that you could just instantly reference each point in the formula and receive an immediate prescription for what your next move might possibly be. Now, before we go any further, love that. I'm checking the comments. Alexandra, ready to fund the new future consciousness stewarded wealth. Love it. Cool. Okay. Drop in the comments before I share my screen and walk you through this. Is anybody feeling excited about looking at a financial formula or feeling intimidated about looking at a financial formula? Some people are excited, some people are intimidated. Everybody says excited. Let's go. Let's go do it. Excited. Okay, good. Nobody is feeling intimidated or overwhelmed. Yeah. Perfect. Justin, excited. Yeah, Justin and Josephine, these are going to be a little bit different financial formulas than the spreadsheets that you two are used to looking at over at your investment firm, right? But it's going to be aligned and in very surprising ways that you might quite be excited by. Yeah, Jessica, the world has been dying for a new wealth map. I know you understand that. Jessica is a former financial advisor turned entrepreneur, and she works with creators all the time, and she's got that really strong money backing. So yeah, you've seen it too. Cool. Okay, we're on the same page. Collapse this and make it only me. All right. Can I get a quick thumbs up or thumbs down? Are we able to see the screen? We are good. Okay, perfect. Okay, no need to feel intimidated or nervous. The Income Trinity formula is super simple. We start over here with the capital attraction code. It's very important that you go in the order I'm prescribing. So remember, this is your cash flow, right? This is how money is drawn to you naturally based on your birth data. So this is a place where we really want to prime the pump because we have to have something to play with in the beginning. Very simple indicator that you're going to look for in a chart is going to be the Venus placement. So I'm going to go through that in a second. Over here, step number 2, your expansion multiplier. This is the scaling aspect. What is getting in my way of making it bigger, and how do I move that, right? How do I explode my potential, my purpose, and monetize it? And then this last part of the formula is how you will know the place, the container, the type of service or offer where it's going to land the best and be most easily received by the marketplace is that final point, right? So we've got to have all these things landing over here in the third aspect, okay? Can I get a thumbs up before I move forward? And I'm going to show you how to pull it up for yourself. Yeah, we get that? Okay, good. I'm getting thumbs up from everybody. So very simple thing that you're going to do, and you should be able to do this for free. Google is your friend. So I'm going to pull up Google here, and you're literally just going to type in free astrology chart. Okay, great. You can use any website you want to. I'm going to let you know the 2 that I use. I'll let some folks in. most often are astro.com and Astro Cafe. Certainly there's a bazillion things out there and you can use whichever you want and it should be free. You shouldn't have to pay for it, right? So when you drop in, we're going to use this one, your birth information. I'm going to be M, and we're going to go with today. What is today? 3/20. We're going to pretend that this is somebody's birthday. Remember, you're going to put in your real birthday information. I'm going to go with the date of our training here. And what are we in? We're in 2026. Gosh, it's hard to remember. All right. And it is 3:47. So go here. And I am located in Houston, Texas for this recording. So we're going to use that as the birthplace. You're obviously going to put whatever city you were born in. All right. And I'm going to press the OK button. And it's going to spit out some data for me. And then you're just going to write it down in a notebook or something for yourself. You don't have to write this example down, but when you do your own, right? So you're going to notice that, hey, we needed to find the Venus placement. Well, that's really easy. It's Venus and it says what sign it's in and it says what house it's located in. So that was easy. We needed to see the Jupiter, right? For our expansion multiplier, same thing. It says, hey, that's that. This is where it is. This is the house that it's located in. Super easy, right? And then in this particular format, we have to scroll down a little bit and it says, hey, where's that part of fortune? Fortune is down here and it's in Virgo, right? And it gives us all the info we need to know, okay? So super easy. You're going to want to write that down on your piece of paper for your, again, for your birthday information, okay? Now, I am going to use a chart because I'm a reader, right? Don't feel overwhelmed. You don't have to look at the chart for yourself. You can just go with the quick key, the free Google search over there. But somebody like me is going to do better because I've taken a lot of information and I read charts. So, you know, for those who are a little more advanced and want to be able to see it on a graph, love. Not a reader, Shanna. Yeah, but are going to do it. Good. Yep. So, Jessica, I just pulled up your chart. Hope it's okay to share with the class, but something easy I have on file. So again, our capital attraction code would be Venus. Couple of different ways you could see it if you're an advanced reader and you want to look at the chart this way, right? So that Venus indicator is right here, says it's in Scorpio. We see it's over here in the 10th sector of this graph. Then we look for the expansion multiplier, Jupiter over here in the second part of the graph. And it says over here too, gives us, oh, I made it bigger. Oh, how nice for us. It says over here, right? It's in Pisces. And then last thing is we're going to look at that part of fortune, P-F-O-R-T, right here in Virgo. If you're looking for it visually over here, we got it, right? So again, if you want to keep it easy, just do the free Google search. It'll just pull it up in plain English for you. I suggest you start there. And if you're a bit of an advanced reader and you actually want to see your personal graphic, certainly you can reference the key in your personal graphic. Now, I'm going to show you before we do some live interpretations. If you're wanting to do this formula on your own and you want to grab the codex and be able to make sure you know how to use it. So again, once you write down your 3 indicators, really easy. This is the financial codex. Let me see if I can make that a tad bigger for you. Woo, that was so much of me. So this is the financial codex, and I'm going to bring up this spread here. Don't worry, there's instructions in the first half. And it literally is going to tell you what to do step by step, right? So it's going to say, step 1, start here, right? And then you're going to find where your indicator was placed among the list, right? So you're looking for yours. So it should match. Your capital attraction code is going to be the Venus placement. So you just go find the one that's there for you. Once you've got it, you've read it, you're like, boom, I'm going to go to step 2, tells you what to do in step 2, so on and so forth. And you're going to get through the whole process. Don't worry, I know it looks like a lot of slides, but remember, many of them are not for you. This is just a reference. And then at the end, right, step 7 tells you how to put it all together. And you kind of have it figured out. Now, what I did in the codex as well is each reference point is going to have the insight as well as an immediate pivot that you should take right now. And then also it has something you should do within the next 24 hours to shift that financial frequency. So basically, if you want to work the codex, you should be able to complete the map in literally less than an hour. Meaning if you download the codex and you put your info in, you should be done by the time you're done with your cup of coffee. Okay. And each of the recommendations for the sectors for your codes where it's like, hey, do this to pivot your business and your income now. I have a 24-hour suggestion, meaning it's something quick and easy and accessible that you could implement tonight or work on over the weekend and already start to see a shift in your delivery model. Okay, so I've designed it to be very quick. You've got an hour version. You should have all your info by then and your recommendations. And then in 24 hours, something you can immediately implement that is going to change the game for you. Okay, how to do this immediately, right? Then certainly if you want to understand your full financial formula, look at the full chart, really build out a portfolio plan for yourself. The private portfolio intensive session would be the next step after that. I highly recommend you grab the codex, do the process, get yourself going, and then book the session. Today, I do have at the end, you scan a QR code. If you're wanting to grab both together, you're like, I want a DIY, but I also want Maurielle to look at it for me. Boom, you guys have a 50% discount. So I highly recommend you snag that like today. Okay. All right, before I move on, because we're going to get into some live demonstrations of what exactly does all that mean and how would that affect somebody's business or how would they pivot, drop in the comments. Do we have a sense of it's a 1, 2, 3, pretty easy, right? I love it. Okay, Raj, it's now or never. Very nice. Tara agreed. Darren, have to do this immediately? Yeah, you really should go download the codex, right? Have a cup of coffee, finish your financial formula in less than an hour. Ida, got it. Alex, super easy to follow. Yep. Eva, looks easy. Perfect. Kelly says, I already have charts locked and loaded. Kelly's ready to go. Perfect. Tanya, easy 3 steps. Yep. Shanti, to be sure, yes, the formula is the Venus, the Jupiter, and the part of fortune. And don't worry, because that's in the codex. Like I said, step 1 and everything, it just pings you right through it. So you don't have to stress out about taking too many notes, right? It's just going to ping you right through it if you want to do it yourself. Okay. And then Karen, could you repeat where to find the codex? Yeah, totally. I'm going to share a QR code on the screen at the end. Actually, I'll share it real quick right now in case anybody wants to like go grab it before we're done. And you should just hold your camera up to our shared screen here. And it should take you, let's see if we can make this bigger. It's the page we want to be on. Okay. We're sharing our screen. Can everybody see that QR code for those that were asking in the comments? Yeah. And just hold your camera up to it. It should go to a page. And if you want to grab it, you can. And then we're going to get into some practice here. All right, cool. We'll come back to that. Boop. All right. So, cool. You know what, Jessica, since I have your chart up in front of the class, Jessica, is it okay if I work with you? If I start with you?
Absolutely.
Okay. So Jessica, I'm going to do a quick little technical explanation of your formula just to make sure you know how to find everything later if you want to take a look at the codex or work on any of this yourself. So your capital attraction code is going to be the Scorpio Venus in the 10th house, right? Your expansion multiplier is the Jupiter and Pisces in the 2nd house. And then your lot of fortune is over here in Virgo in the 8th house, okay? And then when you go to the codex and you just click through the steps, there will be some other insights and things for you there, okay? So don't be intimidated by the graphic, right? How lovely. Okay, so coming from your Income Trinity formula, right? That capital attraction code is the Venus and Scorpio in the 10th. Your expansion multiplier is the Jupiter and Pisces in the 2nd. And the fortune access point is the lot of fortune in Virgo in the 8th. The first thing that stands out to me about you is I think you're a little bit under leveraged because in your business, you have been trying to be respected for being competent when you're actually paid to be penetrating.
That could not be more accurate.
And you've been offering value that still feels a little too safe for the room, rather than a value that feels undeniable in the room. And that's the missing piece. It's subtle, but it's the missing piece. Your wealth is not in being broadly helpful to a mass market of people. Your wealth is in being devastatingly precise to certain people who are making high stakes decisions. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
Yep. So let's break it down in depth, starting with that capital attraction code. Money is naturally drawn to you through authority positioning, discretion, depth, and the demonstration of power. You are not meant to be marketed like a lifestyle brand at all. You are meant to be positioned more like a private asset or a secret weapon. And so what could this possibly look like in real life for your business? This could look like a diagnostic tool or diagnostic session where you name the real problem in less than 20 minutes for somebody and immediately position a strategy reframe for them.
I can do that in 10 minutes.
And she can do it in 10.
Love it. Okay.
And have it codified, right, as a unique methodology, name it and frame it. It is a diagnostic tool or a diagnostic session, not something that Jessica just does spontaneously, right? That gives it more value when you name the framework or name the tool and have some type of repeatable step and become known for that. Right now, it's a little too spontaneous, right? It's just that this thing that Jessica does when I hire her, right? Okay. The other thing that you're
question.
Yeah.
So basically, my whole body of work, all of the frameworks that I have developed, you're just saying put that in the forefront and name it.
Yes. And what would be really great is as a low ticket taster, if you create a diagnostic tool, something simple that people could do for themselves or that would like hit them up front and make them aware of a micro problem and also give them a micro win. It gives them an immediate taste of what you could do, right? Rather than like, I have to wait to hire her for the full enchilada, but I kind of think I know what she does, but not really, right? So create that diagnostic tool as the upfront thing that people can purchase and buy into and immediately experience that walks them into your world to then have the bigger experience with you, right? The other thing you're really well suited for is high stakes decision support.
Sure.
Right? Also, some type of strategic intervention where you see what nobody else sees, right? I really love the idea of you in some type of like confidential advisory work where the client trusts you with the things that they don't want to say out loud or that they definitely don't want other people to know, right? That is the forbidden, right? The thing that that executive doesn't want getting out or is too afraid to even name in the room, that's very much your sweet spot. Another thing I would like to see immediately is shifting your public content from teaching to diagnosis. Less tips, more truth. Right? Hit people right up front with the penetrating insight of what you see is wrong, like why it's not working, not educational tips, right? So no teaching, diagnosis, right? Your magic is not in giving people more tips. Your magic is here's what's true, here's what it's costing you, and here's what we do now about it, right? So the sabotage. And this is where it's going to hit a little bit. You have been softening your message in order to be liked and to be seen as mainstream credible. And over explaining sometimes in order to prove the validity and reality behind what you do. And you're softening those things so that nobody has to feel the full edge of your truth. But the Scorpio Venus in the 10th house does not get paid for being agreeable. It gets paid for being undeniable. And I'm going to go back to an experience you had because I know your business well.
Yeah, you do.
You were invited as a keynote speaker at Grant Cardone's 10X conference, where you were selected by Grant Cardone himself to be on stage in front of several thousand people talking about your work.
Mm-hmm.
And he said something to you after that speech that stuck like a knife, but I have to say, I think he was right.
Agreed.
Now, what Grant said essentially was that your message on stage did not align with his experience of you backstage. Now, he had a really stinky way of saying it, okay? However, the wisdom that he had was true. What Grant wanted you to do, Grant freaking Cardone wanted you to get up on that stage that he selected you to be on to blow people away with your unique business and methodology, which is why he picked you. He wants you to get up on that stage and show all those people why somebody like that is working with you behind the scenes, right? And why he would pick you. And you didn't deliver on it in that moment.
Right.
Right? So that's an example of that sabotage of the capital attraction code. And Grant called it out, right? And I believe that he said that because Grant Cardone deeply believes in you and your work and knows that you deserve to be on a stage like that and would probably love to have you back again, but to deliver your real message, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's shift the expansion multiplier. This is your Jupiter in Pisces in the second house. Your wealth is going to scale the fastest when your spiritual intelligence becomes really tangible value that people can buy, share, and enter, right? You've got to make your resonance relatable, but without watering it down, right? So again, what does that look like in real life? A signature method that you repeat until you are known for it. You might be trying to have too many methods. Be known for less things. Be known as a category of one for a specific framework or methodology and put that on repeat until people automatically identify you with it. Again, that premium diagnostic that collapses time for people and gives them a quick awareness of the micro problem and a micro win is a brilliant forward-facing idea for you, right? And also some type of asset that carries your frequency, but without you always needing to be there. And something I would actually love for your clients that you support privately is something audio where they can hear your voice and receive your guidance and transmissions, something audio that might be private to them. You are going to scale by building containers that hold meaning and consequence, not by producing more offers. I think you overlooked this up until now because the old economy naturally trains people to think that their value is output. Come out with the newest, latest thing. Oh, you did that old framework 6 months ago. You got to create something else to dazzle the public now, right? But your chart says quite the opposite. Value is putting structure around your resonance and being known for less things, but more precisely, right? So the third and final piece, this is your fortune access point, that lot of fortune in Virgo in the 8th house. This is now, how do we know if the money is going to land for you? You have a great signature for precision applied to capital. You have really great wealth architecture, meaning somebody who helps or works with people around money stewardship, money strategy, money systems, and also money protection. That's another interesting thing with the type of business that you have is I know that some of the work has been about like more abundance, but also money protection, is an important nuance that I think you might be missing, especially with the current economy, right? A lot of people are looking for that. Help your clients structure power and assets and their long-term wins. The Virgo energy of that lot of fortune is about mastery and clean execution, but the 8th house placement is about intimacy, trust with other people's private resources, right? Big money decisions or really high discretion life decisions, right? So if we put it all together, lead with that capital attraction code to position yourself as a very private elite authority who delivers surgical truth, then scale it through the expansion multiplier where you turn what is defined as your spiritual intelligence into a diagnostic and a tangible asset that people can easily enter and purchase. And then consolidate all of it through that lot of fortune placement where you're building an offer that long-term is going to create some architecture and protection for the person's primary assets, right? So another thing, you're really designed for confidential leader consulting, where you basically restructure their life or their business model because of your leverage, not because of your labor. So stop selling access to your time like you're a service provider. With your pricing, right? This many hours for this type of container, etc. Stop selling access to your time like a service provider. Start selling your precision and the results of your leverage, right? And that's where the money is going to land for you. And one final thing. God gave you the gift of seeing underneath the surface. You name the truth that unlocks people. And that is not a personality trait. That is your spiritual assignment. So I hope that this was helpful. I hope that you go check out the Financial Codex and see what else is in there for you. I highly recommend that you do the formula in under an hour, and then each of the suggestions that are in there, you should be able to do within the next day or so, something to pivot the way you're currently positioned to capitalize on more.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
And for anyone who has not had a reading with Maurielle, I could not recommend it more highly. I've not had the money one, so now I want to. But we've been friends for many years, and I've had several readings from her over the years and vice versa. And she's one of the best. So highly recommend.
Oh, thank you, Jess. Well, okay, let's see. All right, I want to play with somebody else. How do I remove the spotlight? Okay. Oh, now it's just me. Okay, before we grab somebody else, drop in the comments. How did you experience that? Right? Walking through the formula, the simple 3 steps, but the insights that it gives about what you're sitting on in terms of hidden opportunity and ways that you could reposition to maximize what you already have, and get more of what's already there, right? So Raj says, aligned, empowering. Ida, totally makes sense, brought a lot of clarity. Very tailored and specific, yes. So Josephine, that is exactly why we use the mathematics behind the formula, because it is tailored and specific, meaning your answers and the information you're going to be able to glean from that are going to be totally different than your neighbors. This is why I love to use astrology as a backbone for most of the coaching that I do, is because astrology is based on mathematics. And it's your unique mathematics with your birth date, time, and location that is not ever going to be repeatable. So when you're getting information and the way you look at it, it is truly custom and tailored to you. It is not generic advice. It is not, some kind of vague thing. Totally agree. And I love that you saw that. Yep. Karen, I have my chart memorized. Funny. I would like to do this. How would you use it when there's a couple of people? Cool. Great questions. Okay. So let's pick somebody else. Okay, actually, you know what? Let's do one of our financial advisors. let's do Josephine. Josephine is our financial advisor at an investment firm. Can we have the lady of the house?
Hello.
So just if you want to go use the codex or look it up later. So your capital attraction code, remember this is what draws money to you, begins with the Libra Venus in the 11th sector. And then your expansion multiplier is going to be this Virgo Jupiter in the 9th. And then your lot of fortune is going to be in Cancer in the 8th. So if you are, using the codex or something later, like I said, it's going to walk you through step by step. And you would begin at step 1 and then cruise through and find yours. So should be pretty easy to walk yourself through it if you want to do that later. But we're going to do the advanced version since we're live today. You can do the other DIY version later, but we're going to work straight from your chart here since we can do that. So, okay, cool. All right, we've got our 3 factors. Perfect. The Venus Libra, the Jupiter, beautiful. Okay. So I love where you are in your career right now over at the investment firm and really starting to, I think, carve out a special position for yourself, a really unique position at the firm and as an emerging leader. So your special contribution over there. I think you're a little bit under leveraged because you may have been underestimating your elegance, your aesthetic knowledge, and your relationship building strengths as if they were just personality traits that you possess, but they're actually premium assets that when applied to this business that you're working in is not only going to elevate your leadership role, but it's really going to elevate the entire public image of the firm and the experience that the clients are having when they're working with you guys. So remember that you don't have to earn your sense of authority through proving your abilities. Your authority is actually designed to be quite obvious the moment you enter a room because of the way that you present yourself and carry yourself into the room. So let's decode this a little bit more. That capital attraction code, the Venus and Libra in the 10th house, means that money is drawn to you through high taste, right? Elevated elegance, relationship intelligence, and actually a very public-facing authority. So in real life, this means that you're going to excel at some very high level brand positioning and refinement where you are making a company, a brand, or an experience that they're offering instantly seem more high-end and more premium, instantly seem more welcoming and luxurious. You're also going to recognize how the elevated messaging, whether it's verbal, behavioral, or also aesthetic, is actually going to change people's perception about the value of what they think they're being sold. It's like walking into Louis Vuitton, right? A purse is a purse until you walk into Louis Vuitton, right? And then the whole premium experience changes the buyer psychology of what they think is being sold to them. And you have that innate gift. I want you to turn it up like 10 notches and bring it to the firm where you are and bring it into anything else that you do in the future. You have a leadership style that feels really calm and composed and high status and not loud. And people are really drawn to that sense of self-assurance and security. So you can create client experiences for the firm that feel exquisite, that feel highly considered, and that also feel very emotionally intelligent, right? So how could you accidentally sabotage some of this? If you over-negotiate your own value, right? Or dilute your standards of what you're trying to present because you don't want to look like too much. I don't want to look like too much. right? Or I don't want to push the firm too far too soon, right? Mm-mm. You are meant to. That's the energy you bring. That's your differentiator. The placement that you have gets paid for being very selective and discerning, not broadly accommodating. Does that make sense?
Yes, definitely. It's all really resonating right on the nose.
Good.
Perfect timing.
Good. So let's shift to the second factor in your financial formula, that expansion multiplier. And for you, that's Jupiter and Virgo in the ninth. So it means that your wealth is going to scale very fast when you start doing some precision teaching. Up until this point, you have been too behind the scenes in a support role. There are other people who get up in front of audiences and the company and give presentations and teach. At some point, you will need to take your place there, right? At some point, you should be the person who is the first speaker, who is a presenter, who is an educator and a teacher, because you have incredible wisdom to share about finance and people need to hear it, right? Does that resonate?
Yes, definitely. And it's actually something that I've been working on creating a series that I would lead.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think it's perfectly timed for you. So you scale with that expansion multiplier when you turn your knowledge into this very elegant methodology that people could follow easily and just repeat, right? This ability for you to take your knowledge and present in a super elevated experience type concept to your customers, saying it's the ABC of the 1, 2, 3 and just follow me, right? So they don't become overwhelmed or intimidated by a topic like finance, which could naturally feel overwhelming and intimidating to a client. I also think that at some point you might want to consider publishing some of your strategic points of view in industry journals so that you become quotable. Houston Business Journal, Inc. magazine, Entrepreneur, those kinds of things, right? Have a very distinctive point of view that gets published and people can quote you on it. The other thing is to really pick a specific niche concept within your industry where you want to become the reference point, the benchmark, and the standard. Don't be, I know everything about finance, come to me, right? I know you know that, but be known for something specific within your industry, right? I think that next step for you is rather than being a broad generalist, to be very known for a specific idea or concept or aspect. Does that resonate?
Yeah, definitely. Something I was literally working on today as well. So
Okay, good.
all very timely.
Very timely. Um, and so, we can sometimes think like, why do we overlook this? Because, it's very common to be taught in our businesses that like our authority or visibility comes from like being everywhere. Like I know everything about my industry, and I can tell you an encyclopedia of things that show that I'm an expert. But actually, your chart doesn't say that. Your chart says that your visibility comes from being exact, not from telling us everything about your industry, but telling us a certain thing about your industry. Okay. So now let's land the money with your fortune access point, right? In Cancer in the eighth house. You are going to do super great in deep trust, intimate containers around legacy building capital and creating emotional safety around money. This is the place where people don't want to admit that they're scared. And you are built to help them feel safe and confident in an area of their life where it's very possible they could feel afraid. So how does that show up, right? Private, high trust containers where clients let you into the real room of what's going on in their life and in their bank account, not just the public one that they post on LinkedIn and Instagram. Everything's great. Business is awesome. Money is amazing right now, right? No. What's the real room? that they don't post about, but they let you into it. That's your container. And create experiences or offers that are about the transformation of power and security and wealth, and also inheritance and long-term decisions. I do want to point this out about your lot of fortune. The death energy, hold on, I know that sounded scary, but it shows me that really like legacy planning, inheritance planning, estate planning, after death client guidance, right, is going to be a sweet spot for you.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy because
Tell me.
one of my good friends who she recently lost her husband and they are young. I mean, she's probably 29 or 30 years old. Her husband's the same. Found out that he had cancer, and in 1 month, he passed away from cancer. And so we are in conversations now, and I know that right now she is very strongly grieving, the love of her life, beautiful relationship. And so I've been navigating how to communicate with her in a way where I can be supportive and be there for her, but being really sensitive to, I mean, just everything you're saying is tying in that emotional safety, but being able to be there for her in a after death situation. So yeah, it's all hitting. It's all hitting the marks.
Good. Keep leaning into that direction. So let's wrap it all together, right? Lead with your capital attraction code, which means positioning yourself as this tasteful, elegance defining standard that is very exclusive, specific, and refinement that people are going to want to pay for. People that want a very specific type of customer experience are going to come to you. Then scale that through your expansion multiplier, which is start teaching, but not teaching all the things, a very specific thing that you want to become known for in your industry, and then land that money through the fortune access point, which is build those very intimate, high trust containers where real security and real legacy level wealth transfer discussions and the whole experience that goes around that can truly happen, right? It's the real room, not the public room. And the final thing that I would want to say is God gave you the gift of elevating people, elevating experiences. And so you are here to bring beauty and order and emotional safety into the arenas of power and money. And that's not random. That is your spiritual assignment. So, Josephine, I can't wait to see what you do. I highly suggest grab the codex. You've got the 3 parts of your formula. It'll walk you through it. You should be done in an hour. See other recommendations. Definitely notice the things where it says do this within the next 24 hours because there's some stuff that may resonate with things you're working on. And then absolutely at some point we'll be due for a session. So
Yes, thank you so much, Maurielle. That was awesome. Very affirming and validating, and also, again, targeted and specific to the things that I've been thinking about and piecing together. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
absolutely, my pleasure. All right, let's do maybe one more before we close. Haven't had a gentleman yet. The purpose of doing the live examples is I really want you to see how much highly specific information you can get about yourself from utilizing this formula, which is why your code is not going to be the same as your neighbor's code, and the directions are not going to be the same as what somebody else is working on. And when you see that information, it helps you, it makes sense for yourself, and also helps you to see what you just might ever so slightly tweak. You might be under leveraging it, and it gives you that next bump in your business relative to income streams that are already around you. It's swirling around you. It's not always about creating something so far new and different, and that you can act on pretty quickly. You got to make room for the guys. Dr. Raj. Dr. Raj, are you willing to step up and be our gentleman of the hour?
Yeah, sure. That works.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's get one of the guys. All right.
I already scheduled my session, by the way. So I love it. So,
Wonderful.
I was the
Excellent.
first one putting the link in the chat too. So I was
Well,
like,
this is going to be a preview.
outsourcing done. Let's go. Let's keep going.
Outsourcing, right? This will be a
Finish.
preview then to the session.
Yeah,
Oh, fabulous. I'm glad to see that
I
you
love it.
used the QR code that we shared earlier. Did you just go
Yeah,
that way? Yeah, cool. Good. Okay,
absolutely.
perfect. So, Dr. Raj, we always begin, we go in this specific order, the capital attraction code. So this is that Venus and Pisces over here in the 11th sector. Then we move to the expansion multiplier. That's the Jupiter in Aries in the 12th sector for you. And then we land it. God, there's a lot of people with a lot of fortune in the 8th house today. Interesting. Something going on there. So yours is Capricorn in the 8th house, right over here. So that's our graphic. And I'm going to stop sharing. That way I can see your face and we can have a conversation without a chart. All right. So Venus and Pisces in the 12th, beginning there. Okay. You might be under leveraged because you have been treating your sensitivity and your emotional intelligence like something that needs to be managed or sometimes set in second place to more practical things. But actually, it's your market advantage. Ultimately, you don't have to just earn money by being useful. Your money comes when you are picking people and projects that your heart deeply connects to, and people buy into you because they become excited and inspired, and they can tell that you absolutely believe in it. So let's break this down a little bit more. That capital attraction code, the Venus and Pisces in the 11th, is money is going to be naturally drawn to you in your life through emotional intelligence, spiritual backing. Beauty and aesthetics actually shows up strongly for you as well. I have a feeling about creating some very special spaces for you that are going to have to be highly visual. And also, money comes to you through community building and being a leader of groups. So in real life, ultimately, what this looks like is, I think, building a devoted audience that feels really seen by you and wants to be in your world. One of the ways to do this is clearly through your social media platforms, LinkedIn, Instagram, so on, but also through your industry business events where you should be going, right? And I could see you creating a business container and experience that feels more like a blessing and less like a transaction for people, right? Also, highly leaning into community-based offers like memberships, like private circles, like group containers, like an exclusive salon with Dr. Raj is going to be a really good business strategy for you. So developing something in the business where it's a group of people and I pay a membership, right? Or I'm somehow invited and included in that for a community-based experience very much works for you. Also, the way you are presenting yourself online, I want you to dare to take it a leap further. Give people some brand storytelling that feels emotionally visceral and moves them, not just professional because you're a doctor, right? The piece that is missing from your presentation to the public world in a professional setting is actually the heart piece. People may know about you privately who are in your like social world.
Yeah.
But as a business leader, we don't need another really intelligent doctor. We need a healer that comes from the heart that we can buy into in the medical industry. And that is what your brand storytelling and your current like social media ecosystem may not fully be expressing yet. I also see you being very well positioned for like collaborative types of businesses where you're doing some type of joint partnership or a lot of like co-brand collaborations with people who aren't competitors but are aligned in some type of way with mutual audiences. But watch out for a certain type of sabotage, which is maybe the tendency to overgive to the group, right? Blurring boundaries because you can feel what everybody wants from you and you're trying to be there for everybody all at the same time, right? So you're going to have to manage your boundaries a little bit on that, right? The placement that you have gets paid for being devotional and discerning, but not endlessly accessible, right? Not endlessly accessible to all people and all things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that landing?
Oh, that does. That absolutely does. Yep.
Yep. So next step, the expansion multiplier, right? For you, this looks like your money is going to scale through wellness leadership. And I want to say very specifically for you, I am not just talking about traditional medicine. I want you to think holistic, whole ecosystem type of wellness, right? A blend of spiritual wellness, right? A very East meets West type of medical approach would absolutely suit your chart. And you being this healing leader that people come to. So scaling could look something like claiming a mission in the world and in your life that feels bigger than just your trade or your service. So that way you can lead from conviction. And the way that you market people is you're inviting them into a mission, not into a service offer, right? They buy in because they believe in the bigger change that you're creating in the world. For example, Tom's shoes, right? You buy a pair of shoes from them and they give another pair of shoes to, starving children around the world, etc. Right? Like there's a bigger mission to the brand, and that's why people buy the Tom's shoes, right? Not just because they're the cutest shoes. So I think you're not just here to make money, you're actually here to lead a movement. And it's the movement piece that's missing because the world hasn't yet seen you speak to clearly what is the mission that you're on beyond providing a tactical medical service, right? We already know that about you. We can see that. That's very clearly positioned in your business. But there's this unaccessed level, right, that needs some articulation, and it will light customers on fire. You will be the Tom's shoe brand of the medical world. You also are going to scale by moving first and moving quietly before the rest of the market catches up. So wherever you think that wellness and healing and medical facilities are going in the next 5 years, you better get there first, right? And do it hush hush. Don't tell everybody what moves you're making. Just get it done. I would love to see you build some holistic wellness IP, intellectual property, and frameworks and teachings that position you as not just a service provider, but also as a thought leader in the new type of wellness industry that's being created. I think that you may have not seen or fully accessed some of these things yet because the 12th house placement does require a little bit of incubation sometimes before it acts, like an incubation period. And if you try to scale too soon, it can feel like you're rushing. However, the spot you're in is don't wait too long, right? How long does the incubation really need to be? When will you decide that you're ready to act, right? What's your cue? So let's lock it in with the fortune access point. Authority, long-term structures, and things that actually go global. You are totally meant to go global. I could see you having businesses, multiple medical and wellness locations around the world or in different cities. Also, you are totally intended to have premium education and certification and credentialed methodology, right? Very specific, special, unique licenses. I also think that based on your blended approach to medicine, someday you may even create and teach and then certify people in your unique holistic wellness model for the new types of medical businesses that should be entering the world. I also would love to see you share your worldview on medicine and wellness more like a thought leader and start to verbalize the bigger mission that you're on. I also think that this is about money being given to charitable causes in foreign countries, because I absolutely see in your chart this kickback energy, like kind of like the Tom's shoes. Everything that you buy, then they give to certain people, right?
Yeah.
So the chart is saying to me that part of what makes your brand ultimately believable is the mission and the kickback that you're going to give money to people in need and provide in these foreign countries. So where is that? Who are these people that you most desire to serve, right? And how can you bring them into visibility? So putting it all together, right? The capital attraction code, building through deeper heart resonance, not just medical intellect, and building through community. Just stay discerning with your access, right? Then scaling with that expansion multiplier is move first from behind the scenes, build your wellness IP, intellectual property privately, and then expand with really decisive timing. Where did he come from? Right? I didn't know he was waiting behind the wings the whole time, but he had the money and he took action before anybody else did. He seized the market opportunity. He was on the front edge. And then land it with that fortune access point, which means turn your work into a feeling of a global mission that the market can buy into. So, these God-given gifts, right? You have a unique ability to turn the invisible into a sense of belonging, and that sense of heartfelt belonging into a global movement. And you are here to lead people into something higher and to build a community of followers and healers in a way that is really going to be the pioneering edge of the new economy and the way that we ultimately are wanting to experience healthcare and wellness in our world. So I hope that you work the formula tonight and start thinking about the global mission and the bigger picture, the Tom's Shoes version of the business that people will buy into because it comes from your heart. You're already a great doctor. Let's take it to the next level. Dr. Raj,
Thank you, Maurielle.
Yeah, thank you for being the gentleman in our hot seat. I love that
I
bravery.
appreciate it. No, this is awesome. And I feel so resonant with that because like we've always talked about in all of our sessions over the last few years, I mean, leading with authenticity and our own integrity. And so, yeah, I love it. It's just super exciting. And absolutely we'll do this homework this time. So 100%.
Yes, please do your homework.
Yes.
So I hope that the live demonstration has helped you to see how quickly and easily you can put some of these things for yourself. It's the 3-part formula. It's mathematically based. You can pull up that free chart on the internet and then plug these specific financial signals into the formula. If you want to do it at home by yourself, go snag the codex. You should be able to complete that initial diagnostic in under an hour. And then please take action on some of the recommendations, those 24-hour pivots that are in there, because I would like to see each of you getting more and not leaving money on the table and doing it as quickly as possible. Isn't it cool to see this level of clarity, right, for your own business, your own next move, and really making sure that your mission and your money are starting to match up? This is why people do move so quickly when they're inside of my work, is because once you see that map, you can't unsee it, right? Once you see that map and you understand what it means for you and how it works, everything goes faster. We are really, really, really living through a moment in time in history where money is changing hands. all of these old systems are collapsing around us in many ways, and not to be afraid, because thankfully new systems are forming and they're being created by people like us. And money is important because money will fund whatever comes next. So the question isn't, how do I make more money? It's really, what am I here to fund? Because money isn't neutral. It amplifies what you stand for. And so the people who understand where their wealth is coded and how to maximize their God-given gifts, those can be the ones who decide what is going to get built next in our world the fastest. And you did not incarnate during one of the most volatile times in our economic world history by accident. Because people like you, like me, like us, we are here to build a world that we can believe in. We are here to fund something, to shape something, but it will require clarity. And that's what the map gives you. So here's what I want to say before we close. If today gave you some language for what you've been sensing, it's because you were meant to hear this now, right? And if you've been watching that bifurcating timeline, right, that split, the two versions of how we see people use money and power in the world, one where it seems to be this dark form of control, and another where it's becoming a form of creativity and stewardship and integrity. The only difference between the people who win in this timeline split are the people who are going to not stay successful but under leveraged, the people who are going to actually match their money and their mission to its full capacity. What we need is visibility, meaning to see where our real leverage actually lives, to see what the market already values in a premium level at us, to see how we can expand that and land it in a bigger framework. Because once you see that, you stop making just smart moves that always keep you busy. You start making precise moves that actually shift our reality. So, to put it shortly, if you're feeling like, I know I'm already successful, but I can just sense that there's more, I know there's some profit pathways inside, like what I've already built, I just want to be able to see my next cleanest and quickest move, and this economy right now is nuts, and I don't want to be playing a guessing game, then what I would say to you is exactly, right? Exactly. So this is precisely why at this time I did build the financial codex, so that it could be a quick diagnostic and a map for you, right? A map to leverage what you've already got. And so that codex is going to really easily walk you through that 3-step mapping system. Remember the formula, capital attraction code, how the money is naturally drawn to you. Number 2, your expansion multiplier, how the wealth is going to scale the fastest. And then 3, how it's designed to land and consolidate so it can become real. And this, coming from the inside out, is how we create sacred economics in practice, right? This is how money becomes a reflection of our true inner world, our true authenticity, our true values, and how money becomes a force that is going to fund the future that we want to have. So, being direct about my perspective, because you deserve to know who you're trusting with this lens, is I am spiritual. I am an executive astrologer, and I am trained in business and finance, and I have a corporate background. And so I have seen the other mechanics, and I appreciate them for what they can do and what they are, what they have done. But I also know why that approach won't only be enough for the era that we're entering. Because right now, money isn't neutral, it's the differentiator. And when I started receiving those visitations from the spirit of money, she was quite clear. She is tired of being used as control, and she wants to be used with integrity. She wants to be used as a form of care and protection and provision and future building leadership in our world, right? So let's get positioned quickly. So here's the next step. In a second, I'm going to bring up our QR code one more time for those who did not yet shoot the QR code. If you want to download the Financial Codex and DIY it yourself in under an hour, you're going to see everything is there. And then if you want the next step, there's also a link to the session with me that is 50% off today if you buy it with the Codex. So that way we can all get going. The intensive is going to be your full financial map decoded and timed to the exact destiny dates on the calendar of when you should be making these next moves. So the intensity is going to give you a next level kind of clarity and certainty, and it's going to give you that calendar to walk away with, and then you can upload it to your iCal or your GCal after that, right? So in that session, my goal is to take it a step beyond the Codex and tell you what to prioritize first, what to cut, what to amplify, and then how to sequence your wealth expansion timed to your calendar, right? So again, let me close here with that bit of truth. We did not incarnate in this economic era to play small with our leverage and with our missions. We came here to shape the financial future on an assignment. So let me share my screen and this QR code for a quick second for those who did not get it the first time.
Can I ask a quick question?
Sure, hang on, let me pull up. All right, I'm gonna leave the QR code up there for just a second, and let me see whose beautiful face is talking at me.
Jessica.
It's Jessica. Hi,
Hi.
Jessica.
So I just booked.
Okay, cool.
Is it best? I'm planning to do, I just had a reading with you, but it wasn't this specifically. I'm going to plan to do the Codex this weekend.
Cool.
And then I imagine I'm going to have, I already have questions just from what you already told me. Is it best to come in like with
Prepared.
questions since we've already talked about generalities?
Absolutely. And since you already booked the session, I'm a person of efficiency and I am a prepper. So even with your session, if you email me beforehand and you're like, here's my top 5 questions or whatever the direction that I want to go in the session, that way I'm pulling things in advance, the other things that I see from your chart, and we can go directly to what you want to discuss.
Cool.
Right. So yeah, absolutely. Email me in advance and I will be prepared.
Awesome. Yay. Thanks.
Yay. Yeah. All right. I think we've all had a second there. Cool. Second option to grab that Codex. QR codes are the best, right? They make everything faster. Well, what an incredible way to share the spring equinox together. And, I really felt from the experience with the spirit of money and also just from looking at what's going on in the world right now, I'm here, you're here, we're here to become a financial force for good and a force to be dealt with. We want to be the people with money who decide what is going to get built in this next chapter. And so you have a holy obligation to be rich because the people with the money will decide what happens. So if you're feeling that internal yes, trust it. Trust it because your intuition recognizes real truth faster than your logical mind can explain it. So if you got everything that you needed from this briefing today, then I love that for you. And if you want to DIY the formula yourself, go grab the Codex and then move, take action, right? When your body at some point says, yeah, this is the moment and I want the full picture, then book the portfolio session with me and let's map out the next wealth expansion with precision. Thank you all so much for joining me today to discuss the future of money. And I trust that all of us are going to make a huge difference. So happy spring equinox. And I will see you all again very, very soon when our stars align. Thank you. Bye.